let's start off with story number one. Again, PlayStation veteran Shuhei Yoshida is retiring from Sony in January. I'm pulling from Alex Stedman at IGN. Shuhei Yoshida, one of the key veterans behind the PlayStation brand, has announced his retirement from Sony after more than 3 decades with the company. Yoshida announced the news in a PlayStation blog/podcast on Tuesday. His exit will be effective on January 15th, 2025. Quote, I've been with PlayStation from the beginning, and this is my 31st year with PlayStation, Yoshida said. He continues, and when I hit 30 years, I was thinking, it may be about time for me to move on. You know, the company's been doing great. I love PS5. I love the games that are coming out on this platform. And we have new generations of management who I respect and admire. And I'm so excited for the future of PlayStation, end quote. Yoshida is currently Sony Interactive Entertainment's head of Indies initiative, although he's held various posts at the company throughout the years. Most notably, he was president of SIE Worldwide Studios for Sony Interactive Entertainment from 2008 to 2019. But as Yoshida himself notes, his roots with PlayStation run deep. He was one of the initial members of Ken Kutaragi's team in 1993, and as he says on the podcast, quote, was the first non-technical person to join the team as the company, Sony Corporation at the time, started a plan to bring PlayStation to market, end quote. Elaborating further, he explained that his job as a lead in account management was to talk to publishers and developers in Japan in the hopes that they would make games on the PlayStation. Quote, so that was a really fun time, but also a really challenging time because not many people in the industry believed in 3D graphics technology at that time, he went on. Yoshida would go on to become vice president at Sony Computer Entertainment America in April 2000, being named senior vice president at SCE Worldwide Studios USA in 2007, before taking his president role in 2008. He calls his most recent job, however, overseeing indies at SIE, a dream job. Quote, when I was managing PlayStation Studios working with big studios, making AAA games was great, he explained. However, when I went to events like E3 or Gamescom, I always went to the indie game area, end quote. Now, Mike, me and you can talk about Shuhei Yoshida, because, of course, we've listened to podcasts like Beyond, like PS I Love You, XOXO. We've heard Greg talk about Shuhei Yoshida. We've seen Shuhei appear on Kinda Funny. We've seen Shuhei have a lot of, public presence. The thing that comes to mind for me is the YouTube video of him sharing the PS4 game at the beginning of the PS4 life cycle. Yeah. Mike, how did you feel when you saw that video?
I learned about that. Yeah.
Did that make smoke come out your ears? Were you like, God dang it, Xbox do something?
I remembered that one still to this day. Is right.
We could talk about this all day, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like somebody who could talk about it with a bit more authority is the one and only Greg Miller.
Let me step away. Of course, congratulations on a great run, Shuhei, and enjoy yourself. Be safe. Have a great run.
Greg, welcome to the stage.
Hey, how are you? I had a stick mic. I didn't realize we were doing it like this. Why does he put the chair so high? You know what I mean? Like, what's he trying to do? Oh, and then I got to put all my weight on it to bring it down to a normal level.
I mean, now you're my height. This can't be right.
It feels good, though, doesn't it?
See eye to eye. Shuhei stepping down.
Yeah.
What does this do for you?
Man, it does so much to me that I put out an emergency Greg Way over the holiday. We, of course, closed up shop on Tuesday, and we're like, nothing will happen. And then Tuesday afternoon, this all happened. Shuhei left. So on my way to ice skating with Benny and Jen, I recorded a Greg Way on Wednesday. Shout out to Cool Greg. Cool Greg posted on Thanksgiving. But yeah, I think the easiest, most apt way to talk about this is that it's really just the final blow to, I think, the PlayStation so many people fell in love with. There's eras to everything, right? There's eras to Kinda Funny, there's eras to Beyond, there's eras to PlayStation, Xbox, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think there was a really special time that so many of our viewers, our listeners, Beyond fans were a part of, where it was Adam Boyes, Shuhei Yoshida, Gio Corsi, and of course Jack Trenton out there just rocking E3 stages, PSXs. We were very blessed, Podcast Beyond, and then eventually Kinda Funny, but Beyond, and the moment, me, Colin, and Clements, to be part of Shuhei really breaking out and going from a behind-the-scenes person that so many people had known, right? We're talking about literally 15 years. At the time, she would have been there, give or take, would have been there, right, at PlayStation. And then when the advent of Twitter not being garbage and being fun and being an actual place where people wanted to come and talk and hang out, you saw him break through and start appearing on podcasts and becoming this thing. And, my Greg Way goes into great detail of my first time interacting with Shu on Twitter, right, where somebody came over and was like, "Do you know who just tweeted that they're a fan of the show?" And I'm like, "No." Like, Shu Yoshida. I'm like, "I don't know who that is." Like, President of Sony Worldwide Studios. It was like a different time, right? Let alone the build up to the first time he was on Beyond, to the time that we were at E3, we had just landed, and I got a phone call from PlayStation PR, and they're like, "Hey, do you care if we use one of your tweets in the presentation tomorrow?" And I'm like, "What for?" And they're like, "Oh, do this thing with Shu. There's going to be a bunch of tweets up." And I was like, "Oh, sure, no problem." And you jump to that moment and Shu coming out on stage and him being like, "I've kind of become the face," or I forget what he says, a community manager or a face of PlayStation. And the first tweet they throw up and they showed on thing was me, Clements, and Colin with him out at the bars or whatever and tweeting about it. You know what I mean? Like, Shu is such I think you hear me say so many times, friend of the show. We have so many friends of the show. Oh, I love that person, blah, blah. And I'm talking about the 3 times I've interviewed them or whatever, right? Like, Shu is a legitimate friend. Shuhei Yoshida is somebody who, obviously, when we went to Japan, he upended his schedule to come out to the Catch Your Own Fish restaurant with us. When he's in town and I say, "Hey, do you want to get dinner?" He comes and has dinner. Like, he came to, the old house with the old spare bedroom. When Jen was meeting my mother for the first time, she was in town. I was like, "Oh, do you want to come over for dinner?" He's like, "Yeah." So it was, Jen, my mom, Shu, Colin, like all the just partying, right? And doing, like, that's how close he is to me, and then kind of funny. So this was like a crazy thing to wrestle with on Tuesday. And again, as I talked about in the Greg way, it's like one of those funny things of like the first reaction is it feels like he's gone, and then I, of course, DM'd him and started talking about all this stuff and like set up a dinner when he's in town next. And a lot of announcements coming for our 10-year anniversary. But let's just say there's going to be a new employee on January 16th. All right,
I didn't know this.
That's not true. That's not true. But it has been. Immediately reaching out, but it's just like such a crazy thing of like the last piece of that, what I would call the PSX era PlayStation is gone, right? Where it's like, and don't get me wrong, this isn't shade to Herman or anybody else over there. It's just PlayStation's a far different PlayStation than it was when it was here's how you share a video game on PlayStation for video people, right?
Yeah.
And she was such a big part of that and such a cheerleader for that and so front facing in such a human way, right? Where she really was and is like the guy who tells you what he's playing and will, respond to stuff. And I'll never forget, like, one of the subtlest burns of all time, not in a really egregious way, but in a funny way, was when, David Jaffe was working on that Twisted Metal that kept was going forever. And Shu said something and Jaffe got involved on Twitter and Shu just responds, "Please finish your game." You know what I mean? Like, just get off Twitter and finish your fucking game. It was like, that was awesome. And it was so exactly who Shu was and still is, right? Like, it's not he's gone. Yeah. It's so weird because you want to talk like he's gone when he's not gone. And like one of the follow-ups to his tweet, somebody asked, like, "Are you staying in the industry?" He's like, "I'd like to." So it's not even a retirement. It's just he's leaving PlayStation because he's done as much as he can do with PlayStation.
Isn't it funny how the people we love the most are often the hardest to shop for? Luckily, there's one gift that everyone on your list is sure to enjoy: an Aura digital picture frame. Aura frames make it incredibly easy to share unlimited photos and videos directly from your phone to the frame. When you give an Aura frame as a gift, you can personalize it and preload it with a thoughtful message and photos using the Aura app, making it an ideal present for long-distance loved ones. I have one at my desk, I sent one to my mom, and I'm sending this bad boy to my dad for Christmas. Seriously, uploading photos via the app is so easy and such a nice way to share Ben's childhood with my parents, even though we're in San Francisco and they're in Chicago. Save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames by using promo code KINDAFUNNY at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code KINDAFUNNY. This deal is exclusive to you, our best friends, so get yours now in time for the holidays. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for this holiday season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have all of your gift-giving needs covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Durable frames and world-class optics for all outdoor adventures. With an extensive array of styles and colors, you're bound to find the perfect pair of Shady Rays sunglasses. Y'all know I've been outside in the sun a lot playing Pokemon Go, and it's always such a great experience wearing Shady Rays when I'm out and about looking dope. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Exclusively for you listening right now, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. ShadyRays.com. Use code KINDOFFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this something that's surprising? Is this something that's I guess it feels out of nowhere because this is something that's on my mind of like, oh yeah, when is Shuhei gonna leave? Especially when he's had such a trajectory of, starting so early at PlayStation, having such a rise, being head of PlayStation Worldwide Studios, and now having now been the head of like the PlayStation's like head of indie initiative, right? Like it seems like there was sort of a arc that happens that feels like hey, this is what I want to do. Like I went from having like all this responsibility to now like, being able to focus more in on, hey, I love indies. Like I love working directly with these developers. Is this something that for you would have expected as somebody who probably pays a bit more attention?
It's a great question, Bless. And this is one of those fun ones where I talk about how close I am to the source, to the art, the story here, but to step back and be critical of the entire situation, right? Like when Shu stepped down from Worldwide Studios and went to that indie team and was there with Greg Rice and Sean Benson, who you all know from the PlayStation showcases, I was very much like, oh, they're putting him on the shelf to retire him. Like this is going to be his thing where they put him over there, and it's just because this is very much like the little knowledge I know of the Japanese workplace culture. This is par for the course in many places, right? Of like, oh, you've done this thing for so long, we're going to put you over here, but it's just a position, you can do whatever you. So when they originally announced that and put him on that team, I was like, oh, this is just so he can continue to collect a paycheck, be a part of the PlayStation community for as long as he wants to. But I thought it would end with his retirement. But I also was incorrect, and I thought it would end with, or not even end, gestate with him not being that involved. So I was very taken aback isn't the right word, but surprised to see Shu engage with the role and really be out there championing the indies and being in meet. Like it wasn't one of those like, oh, this is a ceremonial thing. It was I would talk to indie devs who are like, Shu was in our meeting. It was so intimidating. And that, oh, like he's actually doing the job.
There are
he's
quite a few games that like
role.
Shu's put me onto, right? Like I think the first time I heard of Chicory was from Shuhei Yoshida tweeting about it, and then Janet playing it.
And so like when I saw him doing that, I was like, oh, this is a real role. This isn't ceremonial like I thought it was going to be. So, but I still thought that 31 years that he would retire there. I thought that you would see it all the way through. Yeah. And so it's surprising on that end of like, oh, I thought Shu would be a company man and do this the entire way. And so there's excitement in that of what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like Shu has made a name for himself. Shu is well known for his acumen of what makes a good game and obviously being a producer and so on and so forth. What do you do with that when you leave PlayStation? Because we've seen plenty of people leave PlayStation, right? Adam Boyes, Gio Corsi. I would go even to a higher level, no offense to them, but like a Sean Layden, right? A Jack Trenton, but like a Sean Layden, a Jack Trenton, they leave, a Reggie. Yeah. They leave and they write a book, and they leave and they're on like this panel of, we're a board of directors. Like they're not in it. So I really do wonder if Shu has gone up, from PlayStation being a producer to head of Worldwide Studios to this indie role, right? And now is like, I want to be hands-on. I want to help someone make a game. I want to do that. Or is it going to be as simple as he ends up at a Xbox, he ends up at a bigger third party that is looking for things.
If he ended up at an Xbox,
dude, if I was Phil, it's a first call.
That'd be
I would. I saw them going back and forth on Twitter. I was like, that would be awesome.
Yeah, like I guess my expectation would like be either like he has an idea for his own company where he's going to help indies, or if he wants to be like get into consulting or something along those lines. Yeah, like I kind of expect a similar trajectory as like the people that you mentioned, right? But maybe a bit more hands on. Yeah. But yeah, like that's exciting stuff though. Of course, like Shuhei has been somebody who like to say I've been a fan would be weird because it's almost like it's not like he's a podcaster. It's not like he's like directly making the video game. And so like I think it's just he's been somebody that I've followed over the years, mainly because of things like Beyond and him showing up on different podcasts, right? But I think also what you talk about as far as him being one of the faces of PlayStation, I feel like we talked about this often, the fact that PlayStation doesn't really have as much of that anymore. Like
they've gone back to that corporate, we're a siloed structure. Yeah, right? The brand is what's important.
And I think at a certain time, the way I would think about PlayStation and Shuhei's relationship with it, like Shuhei was essentially what I envisioned as like Phil Spencer at Xbox, right? Yeah. Like you are the face that I associate with this thing. Different roles, obviously, but like I think Shuhei stepping down kind of feels like it has a bit of that style of impact of, oh man, I never thought I would see this happen, right? Yeah. This man that I associate so strongly with the brand stepped down in this way. But yeah, like congratulations to him for the 31 years, was it?
31 years. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next. That's what I'm now most excited for.
Heck yeah. Greg. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me for this conversation.
Anytime. I appreciate it. Back to Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah.
We're reviewing it Thursday, everybody.
You want to stay to talk about the next story?
Sure, I can.
Oh, really? You actually want to? I was going to.
I mean, it's awesome.
Let's talk about it then. Story number.
But let me. Indiana Jones review Thursday, and we're doing something special.
Oh.
So they have a weird embargo of 4 p.m. Pacific time, not our usual Gamescast time. So we're going to do a YouTube premiere of that Gamescast. So that will be locked, loaded, and ready to go on Thursday afternoon at 4 p.m. for Indiana Jones.
What are you doing? Are we doing like a Gamescast, like a earlier day thing?
No,
I guess
we're
I should just
going
look
to
at
do
the
Games
calendar.
Daily. Well, it all happened while you're living live.
Okay.
Games Daily, then it'll be into the stream, and then there'll probably be dead time. I'm not going to force Mike to stream till 4 p.m., and then
Fair
4
enough.
p.m. it'll pop off.
All right. There you go. Let's hop into story number 2. PS5 adds limited time PS1 boot up and customizable themes based on previous consoles. This is Tom Ivan at Video Games Chronicle. Sony has released a PS5 update which lets players customize aspects of the console's design based on different console generations. Coinciding with PlayStation's 30th anniversary on December 3rd, the update adds PS1's boot up as part of its new startup sequence. As seen in the video, players can also customize some visual and audio features by selecting from PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, standard PS5, or 30th anniversary themes. Quote, for a limited time, you can change parts of the PS5 design based on your favorite generation of PlayStation, Sony said. Select a design to apply to your home screen and other areas, end quote. Sony has also released a 30th anniversary thank you video. But talking about this design thing, Greg, I saw you, I think you either tweeted it or you blue skied it.
I did it all. I'm
Good
everywhere.
for you.
Blue Sky's the only place I'm looking at responses anymore. Better
Okay.
conversation over there. But I'm still putting stuff up on Threads. Instagram I don't count because Instagram's a different beast.
Yeah.
But
Not giving up on Threads. Interesting.
well, I like it because there's my Instagram feed, right? My Instagram feed is photos. And so it's weird. I wouldn't want to put this. People aren't following me for screenshots of the PlayStation anniversary over on Instagram.
Yeah.
But I put it up on Threads and I can share that to the story so you can see that he's saying something interesting.
That's fair.
I wish Threads would have won.
I also
All
wish
due
Threads
respect to
would've won.
Blue Sky, you're great, you're fun, it's nice. I just wish Threads would have won.
Yeah. But yeah, I saw you were messing around
Yeah.
with this stuff. How's
Awesome.
it hitting you?
It's such a double-edged sword of like, fuck yes, this is awesome. Immediately the PlayStation 2 theme. I adore the PlayStation 2 theme. It's what I'm going to rock. Why is it limited time? Please tell me you're doing it limited time so that when you can say, we've heard you, and we'll now put it everywhere. That doesn't sound like how PlayStation usually acts, though. So I do expect them still to take it away, which is so fucking dumb. Let us go.
Did they talk about like how long it's going for?
No, right? It's just,
One day I'm just gonna wake
quote,
up.
for a limited time. You can change parts of the PlayStation 5. It's like, how long? But why? Why would you take this away? Just let us be happy with the 30th anniversary.
It sucks because this is the thing we've always asked for.
Yeah.
Like I've been asking for themes ever since the PS5 launch. You finally give me themes and ones
Look
that
at this.
like
Look at
I
this
particularly
hot.
enjoy, right? Because I'm with you. The PS2 one is the one I'm going to go for. I've not booted it up yet, and so
Yeah.
I'm going to look through all of them, see how they look.
Sure.
Because of course, like it's awesome how every generation I have like a different level of nostalgia for.
Yeah,
Where
of course.
PS2 was my original PlayStation console, and so
Yeah.
like I got to go with that one, and also like it has the best boot up. But like the PS3 elicits like a different emotion in me, right? Because
Yeah,
for me
yeah,
that
yeah.
was like high school into college was PS3,
That
and so like
XMB.
yeah, and like you're gonna take me back there, but then PS4 obviously like was also such a special generation, and so it's fucking awesome to be able to look through and be like, all right, it's. Have you seen the Key and Peele? This is the third time I'm referencing this in the last couple of weeks, but the Key and Peele Intercontinental Breakfast skit where
I don't think so.
Jordan Peele, he like goes to the like he's at a hotel and
Yeah.
he's getting the Intercontinental breakfast and he's like blown away by every single thing and like he like gets like one of the mini muffins and he's like, oh, it's from Switzerland, and he's like eating every fucking thing. That's essentially gonna be me with the fucking menu where I'm gonna be like, oh, the PS2, let's boot this up. Oh, the PS3 menu, let's check this out as well. And so I'm excited to check this out. But yeah, I'm gonna go PS2 and I hope they don't take it away.
Yeah, I hope so too. That's the and that sucks because that was like I tweeted blue. I skeeted. I tweeted.
Yeah.
I threaded. And everyone's response was like, "It's cool. Why are they taking it away? Like, just don't be stupid, PlayStation. I know it's against your nature, PlayStation, but don't be stupid. Just let it be there. Let people celebrate.
Let people celebrate. Greg, thank you so much for joining me here.
It's always a pleasure."
Have fun in reviewing Indiana Jones.
Da-da-da.